Well, good morning, second grade students. Even though it is in the afternoon at my home, this is Miss Keller here. Your future is so bright, I had to wear my shades. Nah, just kidding. Not really kidding. Your future is so bright, I do need to wear my shades. But I just wanted to grab your attention because I'm going to be teaching you some math today. It is Tuesday, September 8th, and we are going to be talking about mental math, math facts, fact families, and counting on. Now, last week, Miss Garcia, the last couple weeks, she has been giving your math lessons and talking to you about sabotaging and that quick thinking in doing math and numbers in your brain. And then she talked to you about making a 10 and how you add and subtract using 10. And in your mobile learning packets, you have this paper that makes best friends that make a 10. And this is just a little reminder about some equations that help us make a 10. And why is making a 10 a useful strategy? It's easier to count with. We know that a 10 frame is easier to count 10 plus 4 than it is to say 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 8 plus 6 is the same number. So we're introducing new concepts, maybe reviewing concepts for you in different ways to do math. So let's get started on the lesson. I want to introduce to you, I'm going to share my screen and introduce to you our math lesson. And I need to move this for my slideshow. We're going to be focusing on adding and subtracting problems. I hope you can see. I've been having some real difficulty with my screen share and PowerPoint today. This is probably my 6th time recording, so I am going to be checking and making sure that you can see the screen I'm talking about. Let me try again, just to make sure you are on the screen that I am talking about. Before we get into fact families, I want to talk to you a little bit about vocabulary and some terminology that you may already know, or maybe it's new, but you will hear. We know the sum is a result of addition. The sum is what something plus something equals. The difference is also the result of subtraction. So something minus something is what it equals. A fact family is a group of related number sentences using same numbers. They're related, but in a different order, so they're helping each other out. We add by combining or finding the total of 2 or more quantities. We subtract by taking away or separating one quantity from another so that we can compare. And an addendum is a number being added to an addition problem. All right, so some terminology. You don't have to remember it, but you're going to hear it, and we just want you to be familiar with it. So I'm going to show you 2 videos that's going to introduce a fact family and what it is. So this is a family that is literally showing what a fact family is. And I loved it because of the music, and you can move around and pay attention. It's got a couple questions I want you to interact and participate with. And then there's a game that I would love for you to play with your family. And I'm going to show you a 3-minute, 16-second video on how to play that game so that you can get your deck of cards out and give it a try. Let's make sure this is going to work. I certainly hope you can see this screen. And you know what? I'll be right back because it stopped sharing. Hold on. All right, let's give it a try. I hope it's there. Here we go. You should see a video.
In first grade, you learned about fact families. You learned that addition and subtraction sentences are related and help each other out. This concept is very similar to part, part, whole. In an earlier lesson, we talked about how two parts add up to create a whole. This example shows 3 and 2 as the parts, which add together to create a whole of 5. We would write this sentence, 3 plus 2 equals 5. We can also create another addition sentence by flipping the two parts. We call that the turnaround fact. In both sentences, the parts add up to the whole. Since addition and subtraction facts are related, we could also create two subtraction sentences. We have to start with the whole first, 5, and then subtract 1 of the parts, 3. The remaining part, 2, is our answer, or in subtraction we call it the difference. When we flip the two parts, they create a new math sentence. 5 minus 2 equals 3. Did you notice that we only used 3 numbers while creating 4 number sentences? Those 3 numbers were a fact family. They help each other create many number sentences. Fact families are so much fun, especially if you practice them with your family. Let's watch part of an actual family teach us about fact families. This triangular card shows the whole at the top, 13. 5 and 8 are the parts. The fact family dances together. Then they create an addition sentence. 5 plus 8 equals 13. Time for the turnaround fact. Now let's build our subtraction sentences. The whole runs away from the equal sign and now begins the subtraction sentence. 13 minus 8 equals 5. Time to flip-flop the 8 and 5. Another subtraction sentence. What a fun family! Here's a new family. Great job. And another new fact family. This time, they started creating subtraction sentences first. Now they move on to build addition sentences. When a fact family contains a double stack like this one, you can only create 2 sentences. 1 subtraction and 1 addition. In 2nd grade, you will learn all about finding missing parts or wholes. For example, if you come across this addition sentence, you can use what you know about fact families to help you solve, since the numbers in the fact families are related and help each other out. Blank plus 2 equals 10. You can build a subtraction sentence with what you know. The whole minus the known part. Now you can solve. You have found the missing part. Now you try. 9 minus blank equals 5. Press pause to think this over. You know that 9 is the whole because it starts the subtraction sentence. You also know that 5 is one of the parts. If you add 4 to 5, you get 9. The missing part is 4. Now create fact families of your own. It's a lot of fun if you ask your family to join you.
Last little bit there. All right. And I am going to ask your family to join you. So let me show you the next screen. the next video that you're going to be taking a look at. It is an example of
Today we are going to
what you're going to watch. Let me share my screen so you can see it. I hope you can see it. Here we go. An example of the game I want you to play.
this center play the fact family card game in which students identify fact families 1 through 9. Does anyone know what is a fact family? All right. Yes, sir.
Fact family is 3 numbers that can be used in the inverse operation, and they also can be used as addition problems and subtraction problems.
Fantastic. So the inverse operation, either being addition or subtraction, and identifying fact families that are related, 3 numbers, by either addition and or subtraction. All right, guys, who's the dealer? Okay, let's go ahead and see how this game is played. So the dealer distributes 3 cards to each student. Afterwards, the students then look at their cards. And they're having a moment to think. Now, everyone go ahead and show your cards. And does anyone have a fact family? Yes, sir.
I have a fact family because 5 plus 2 equals 7, and if I had a 7 minus 2 equals 5.
Fantastic. We did identify a fact family. Are there any other fact families? Let's go ahead, and can you share why do you not have a fact family?
I do not have a fact family because 5 and 3 are not like related, and 8 it doesn't count because it's not a number.
Okay.
So if I use 3 to take away 8, it's not gonna count because it's not a number.
Exactly. Can we all look at this gentleman's cards, and how could we make this a fact family? Is it possible?
She is going to ask, is it possible to make it a fact family? What number replaces the ace? And we're going to hear one answer, but there are multiple answers. There's actually one more that I can think of. Maybe you can think of it too.
If we change the ace into a number, what would make it a fact family, if that is even possible? What number would make that a fact family? Okay, yes, sir.
It would have to be an 8 if it has to be a fact family.
Why do you say 8?
Because 5 plus 3 equals 8.
Okay.
3 plus 5 equals 8.
And what about for the inverse operation? The inverse of addition is?
Subtracting.
Does it work as well?
Yes.
Okay, how so?
If you take away 8 take away 5 equals 3.
Okay.
And 8 take away 3 is 5.
Fantastic. Thanks for sharing, guys. I'll go ahead and let you get back to your fact family.
All right. So what number did you come up with? Did you have the same number to replace the ace that boy did? And then she asked a question about the inverse order. What is the inverse order? And that may be a new terminology as well. The inverse is just kind of flip-flop. If you can add it, can you also subtract it and get the similar answer that's in the fact family? And we're going to be working on that today. So moving on in our lesson, after you play that game, let's see, can you see my screen? I want to make sure you see my screen. I am going to share my screen, and we're moving on to the next slide. Using pictures of fact families and counting on to add and subtract in your head. Adding and subtracting in your head is called mental math. And using pictures like playing cards, like counting on, are ways to do mental math in your head, math in your head. So I want you to think it through. If you know how to draw a picture to subtract 12 minus 3, that equals 9. In your mobile learning packet, you could take out 12 counting beans, take 3 away, you should have 9 left. How can you use a fact family to solve the same problem? So let's say in this number bond that 12 is at the top here and 3 is here because those are the two numbers given to us. What would be the number in here? What is part of the family? And I want you to find the difference between 12 minus 3 and think of another problem such as 3 plus what equals 12 and write the 4 fact families in, or the 4 facts in this fact family. So that's something you could do in your blue composition notebook. Then moving on, so there's a lot here and you can stop this video at any time to either review or move on to the next slide. Let me show you what is next in this lesson. And I certainly hope, did it switch over for you? I certainly hope so. Where it says, I can use counting on. I've had a lot of difficulty with switching slides. Like I'll be talking about what's on the slide I see, but when I view it back, because that's what you will see, it doesn't switch. So let me try again and just make sure that it is on the slide I want you to see. So what is 8 minus 11? 8 minus 11. Think of it as 8 plus what equals 11. This is our problem. And we're going to think it through. We're going to look at the information given to us. And if I use counting on, because in the previous strategy, I did a fact family and I used a number bond, which I've also called it a math mountain. And you may have too, but we're calling it a number bond this year. If I start at number 8 and count on to 11, I'm going to use my fingers or my counting beans, and I would say 8, 9, 10, 11. How many numbers did I count on? 3. So now that we know the 4 facts, you're going to write in the facts here from that family. And please put it in that practice work, put it in your blue composition notebook. Y'all, it's really important to practice. You know, like in a sport or any type of skill or drawing or math, ELA, whatever you do to do it really well, you've got to practice. Okay. Moving on to the next slide, I want to show you, and I'm going to share my screen again, sharing it again. Here we go, that in order to practice some more using fact families and counting on, you're going to have some work to do, and this will get you started. I want you to talk out with a family member. The problem is, I want you to count on to find 2 plus 6. When you find 2 plus 6, that's the information given to you, and the problem is finding the sum. What is the total? What number would you start with and why? A good mathematician can explain their strategy. And you know what? There's not just one way of doing math. There are multiple ways, and you're learning them now. You're learning multiple ways. And it just takes practice to get better. And as long as you get to the same answer and you can, or the correct answer, and you can explain your strategy, that is a good mathematician. In your mobile learning kit, there is more practice on paper. It's this one right here. write 4 different facts, and you've been given 4 different fact families. Write those equations out. We're going to want this back on Friday the 11th when you come get your new mobile learning packet and you're turning in your work. In addition to that, you have this packet this week. We're going to use this one all week. Do you see how it's stapled? Because there's multiple pages and there's a lesson for a worksheet each day. Well, today you should read this letter that says, Dear Family, read that along with your family. And then, well, let me say, it explains fact families and counting on. And on the back is another type of game that you could play if you wanted to. Another game to play. Then, when you're ready, turn it over. This is your work for today in math. Understanding mental math strategies. We want you to do page 3, turn it over, and do page 4. Please do not move on to the next page because that will be with a lesson with Miss Bitely on Wednesday. So just page 3 and 4 and read the Dear Family letter. Well, I think that's all for today, and that's probably enough. Let me make sure and check my screen one more time that we have it all up. Oh no, I have one more thing to show you. One more thing to show you. This is how we're going to leave the lesson. So I'm going to share my screen one more time. And in your blue composition notebook, we want to know what are the missing numbers in these fact families. You'll need to write these down. And you've got the information, think it through, and use your strategies, whether you're counting on or you are using the fact family. That would be ideal. Use your counting beans to help you if you need. And of course, if you have any questions or you need just some clarifying information, please reach out to your teacher. We're here to help. We are family. Even though we are not related by blood, we are related through school and through 2nd grade. And we are here to help each other. So have a great day. Do your fact families and your counting on strategies and get stronger and better. Good practice makes purposeful practice. See you later.